I'm Chuck, and this is my garage. Alright, since this is my first video, I'm going to give everyone a really quick rundown of some of the cool machines I have, and we're just going to start. Alright, so this is my vinyl cutter. This is my full color copier. This is my system. It's a dual monitor system. This is my 3D printer. This is my 24 by 36 blue and white 100 watt laser engraver. A dedicated system for my little desktop CNC machine is my dye sublimation printer. I keep it covered up because it gets dusty in here. There's a second one beside it is the heat press, and here I have a router table thing. So that's it. That's pretty much my garage, and I'm going to teach you guys how to make some really cool stuff. So I've had this piece of wood lying around for a couple of weeks now, and I've been trying to come up with some cool ideas for it. I get these pretty regularly from a local wood shop, and I carve things on them. So this is one I've done for myself. It's one of my samples, but I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to pull it off, but I want to give it a shot. What I'd like to do is two-stage carve this, but I want to paint something on it in the middle of the two stages. I think at the end of the day it'll be a really awesome clock, and let's just give it a shot and see how it goes. So we're just gonna head over to the computer and play around a little bit and see what we can do. Alright, so basically what I've done is I have a vector Ghostbusters file, and I have pulled each individual line out of that file to create two different vectors. Now I'm going to send both of these vectors to my machine, but what I would like to do is on the left side here, I've created this as a single lined object so that I could tell the machine that I just want it to trace that line very finely so that I know where I want to paint. Then once that's done, I'll send the second file over, which is much thicker lines and looks a lot cooler, and that will cut out the outline around my paint. So I'm not 100% sure this is going to work. I think it's something cool to experiment. So I need to go now into the software that came with the Xcarve. I'm going to do this on the Xcarve machine. I have the 750 millimeter version. That's basically 20 inches by 20 inches. So my round object is 17 3/4 inches by 17 3/4 inches. And my depth really doesn't matter here because I'm going to do nothing more than V-carve, 100 thousandths deep by the end. So I do not want to set this for an 1/8 inch bit here. I believe that setting it for an 1/8 inch bit will destroy what I'm trying to do here. I want it to be a V-carve. And now there's something weird about easel. Easel creates an origin down in the corner, and you can't change that origin. So for example, there's no way I can pull the origin to the center. But you notice when I designed my file before I imported, I created a dot in the dead center of this circle. It's not in the center of the design because the hand goes out further here. So I created this dot as a reference point. So that center point is going to help me center up my origin to the bottom corner. So what I've done is I've moved my drawing down to the center origin. Now it's kind of crazy the way the software works. What this is going to do is it's going to allow my center to be in the center of the circle, and I'll explain when I get it to the machine. Instead of putting my origin in the bottom left corner, I'll move my origin to the center of my design. So even though the machine can't see it, it works in a virtual space. So now what I've done is I've taken this outline and I've turned it to white. That's so it doesn't cut at all. So now if I find the center of my object and run this file, it should very lightly scratch around the board to show me where my drawing is. You'll notice in easel you can create different pages for the same file. So this same exact file here, I'm going to go grab it, and I'm going to do the same thing. This is the one that I thickened up the lines on. I'm going to pull it to the center. I'm going to zoom in down there so we can make sure we're right on center as close as possible. And I feel like I'm pretty good right here. Zoom back out. And the outside line is already white, and I would like for all of this to engrave the final product around 100 thousandths. I think maybe let's make it an even eighth of an inch. I kind of like eighth of an inch. So we're going to take it from here over to the machine and see what happens. So at this point, I'm just going to load up easel on the computer, and I'm going to tie my piece of wood down to the table. I want to try to get it to the center's table if possible. It doesn't really matter. I just want to be able to put stops on it so that I can put it in the exact same place that it was after I take it off of the table. Then I'm just going to find the center of it. I know this doesn't find the exact center, but it gets me close enough. You know, I feel like if I'm within a 1/16 of an inch, it's probably alright. So now I'm just going to add my stops, and my stops will help me place it back on the table in the correct spot after I take it off. So at this point, I am loading up easel, and you have to sign in through the Inventables website. And since I designed it on my other computer and easel is online only, it's already on this computer because I have easel loaded. I use Easel Pro. I paid $20 a month for it. I have not yet purchased VCarve, but hopefully it's in the near future. So we'll get it started, and basically all we want it to do is scratch the surface so I know where I want to paint. So this is pretty much exactly what I was hoping for. It's just lightly scratched my design on there. Obviously it's going to be a Ghostbusters design. So now I'm going to do something I've never really seen before, and I don't know if it's going to work. I'm going to try to watercolor the wood. I know wood soaks up liquids, so I think if I use enough and do it just right, I can make it kind of look cool. And then once that's done, we're going to put it back on the machine in the exact same spot and engrave a deeper and darker file so that the engraving of the Ghostbuster logo is deep and clear and crisp. And let's see how it goes. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen, right? So I am kind of an artist by trade, and I usually have some watercolors sitting around. I do a lot of art, so I get some pretty decent sets, and that one's almost out of black, so I'm going to be doing the outside ring black. So I think maybe I'll give it a shot. If I don't like it, I'll try some different paints. I think it was somewhere around this point that I decided these would probably not be dark enough for what I was trying to achieve. I wanted it a little darker, but I still wanted to be able to see the wood through it. So I found some water-based acrylics, and I watered them down a lot, and I think it's going to give me the perfect look that I'm looking for. So right here, I'm just adding red, getting it to the darkness that I like, and when I get all my red in the spots that I need, then I'll go ahead and add a little bit of white. I'm going to add the white to the ghost. I'm just basically trying to make it look exactly like the original logo. And I think I'm going to do blue and black, light blue toward the inside, dark blue to black around the outside. I'm not really sure. At this point, I think I'm just playing with color, and it's looking pretty good. I mean, I'm impressed with it. I still have the wood grain because it's very light paint. Like, I've mixed the paint together so that it looks more like a dye than a paint, and it's kind of exactly what I was going for. So we're going to get it back on the machine, and I'm going to line it up with the marks that I made on it, and it already has a stop, so everything's ready to go. We're just going to go in and carve out all the areas, and as soon as that's done, I actually went ahead and did a third stage. I did a third stage where I carved Ghostbusters across the face and all the characters, and I'd forgotten to do that earlier, so I just did it. Once I got that done, I realized that I really like the way it's coming out, and I want the wood to pop a little bit more. So I think I'm going to clear coat it with some basic clear varnish spray on, so that I can help lock in those colors, because those colors are water-based and I don't want them to bleed. So I think that's the best option as soon as I get off the machine. Alright, cool. So what I've done is I have it engraved on the CNC machine. It's completely finished. I'm just going to turn off the machine, and I'm going to take it off, and it is almost... The reason I'm clear coating it with spray is because it's watercolor and I don't want them to bleed into each other. So I'll clear coat it with spray once or twice, let it dry and harden, and then I'll go and put some poly coat on it, and maybe we'll even buff it up. So it actually turned out to be a 3-stage carve. I love this. It's neat. It's really pretty. And before I'm done, I'll go and I'll paint the edges black so that it blends with the front. So all I'm doing now is just taking a metal pick and cleaning out all the areas that need to be cleaned out. They got a little wood stuck in them. It's not a big deal. It's just a little extra step that makes it look prettier. Now just start painting the edge. I want the edge to be black just like the rest of the clock is. It has raw wood there, and I'd like for it to be dark. And then once I paint the entire edge black, I think I want to go in and sand off a little bit off of the edge to make it look like primitive, like it was intentional or older, or just kind of give it that vintage look. So now that I have the outside black and it's dried a little bit, I think I'm going to scuff up the edges. And the scuffs really, for me, they give it a look as it's been beat up or dented up, or it's old and it's it's got some life on it, and it really takes away the brand new look, and I like that. I really like that. So here, we're just going to put a quick spray on it. So probably a little closer than I need, but I always have to spray it thick because I know it's going to soak into the wood, and then that'll help seal those colors in. So what I've done here is I've let it dry, and now I'm going to coat it with Mod Podge Super Gloss. It's a really thick, really protective coating, and if you paint it on correctly, it'll give a glass finish. But I wasn't really looking for a glass finish. I was looking more for I don't even know what it's called, like the glass you see in a bathroom, like the freckled glass. So instead of painting it on with a brush, I used a roller and rolled it out really fast, and it made it it made it look really perfect, exactly what I wanted. And then I let it dry overnight. I've coated my board twice, but instead of putting any kind of poly finish on it, I chose to try Mod Podge Super Gloss. The Mod Podge Super Gloss claims to have a really nice shiny finish, but I didn't really like it with brush strokes in it, so I used a small roller, any roller you can pick up at any hardware store, and I just rolled it on there, and it really gave it this cool look, like a pimply glass look. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's really awesome. I like it. So now what we're going to do is I have a clock mechanism, and I'm going to mill out a slot in the back to put the clock mechanism in, and we'll finish the clock up. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I have to change out the bit to a 1/4 inch bit, and I'm just going to go right into easel and create a box that is 2 3/8 by 2 3/8 wide. So, I have my slot milled out for my clock. Let's hope it works. The clock's finished. I love it. I'm impressed with it. I think you're gonna love it too. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I really like it. The back has the clock inside, and there it is. Now, what's even cooler? Someone's gonna get this free. Yeah, you heard that right. Someone's gonna get it absolutely free. All you gotta do is subscribe to my channel. All you have to do is subscribe to my channel. I prefer you share this video. That would really help out. I'll have a drawing from the names of my subscribers, and I will post the video for everyone to see. So if you love Ghostbusters, this is the perfect opportunity to get a really killer clock.